The Raisin, a short story about the universe made and edited by Alex Raffel that shows how special something as little as a raisin can be. This video is unique because instead of presenting ideas from everything forever, which is what my channel is mostly about, it is a unique story that I made. If you want more of these, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, enjoy the video. One day, I was at my house eating some raisins. I picked one out of the box and looked at it. It was the last one. I looked at it deeply and wondered at it. I wondered what its life was like. It had grown in a small orchard in California before being shipped out on many planes and trucks toward the place where it was packaged and finally being brought to me. What an adventure this raisin had. I felt the raisin, felt its coarse, rough skin and its many bumps and grooves. I thought, does this small ordinary raisin actually exist? Its corks had been forged in the great heat of the Big Bang, billions of light years apart as the universe went through inflation. Then the quarks formed protons, neutrons, and electrons, and eventually settled into equilibrium, into the first atoms. Then the atoms were forced apart as the universe expanded, and they found themselves in a great void trillions of light years apart, trillions of light years from the nearest atom, all alone. They drifted like that, the raisin's atoms, for billions of years, with no knowledge of their fate or of what their universe was. This universe was special. They were special. They did not know this, but their universe would be the first to harbor extremely complex entities capable of producing pockets of negative entropy while trying to figure out what they were. It was life. And so the atoms drifted, void of thought, for billions of years. One year, however, they found themselves being pulled into a dense group of other atoms. It got so cramped that a chemical reaction took place, and a baby star began to shine. The atoms were trapped by the gravitational pull, and they were trapped in the sun for a long time, millions of years, until they were finally ejected to the surface. Freedom! The atoms were flying away at incredible speeds, heading straight for a crash course with the planet Earth, not habitable at the time. The atoms collided with the planet, and the force of the impact smashed them together to form molecules. Molecules of hydrogen, carbon, and others. And so they lay, while the Earth grew up from a screaming infant to a calmer toddler. The atmosphere began to form. Oceans of hydrogen and oxygen condensed and filled the planet, and a pile of rocks orbiting the planet formed the moon. Life began, at first in the oceans, but then exploring onto dry land. Life seemed to take over, covering the earth with rich force and beautiful diversity. Then humans came, a species of life that wondered about themselves, read their own code, wondered what it was that they called consciousness. What a paradox! Finally, after billions of years trapped on the earth, the molecules found themselves finally taking part of life, becoming life. They formed complex molecules like glucose, and let life form them and shape them to its will. They became a great plant. And finally, it all came full circle. After billions of years of waiting, the atoms were together, not scattered around the universe, but together, in something that has meaning, something that will help the universe and life progress, even if it is something as little as a raisin. For life is only a smaller version of the consciousness of the universe. Life is like a baby universe, learning how to survive in an infinitely diverse reality. And so I stared at the raisin, thinking of all the billion-year-long adventures that all had to coincide perfectly in order to form this simple raisin. How incredibly complex and old this raisin must be. But there was one last thing I was wondering. Was all this true? Was the raisin really 13.7 billion years old? Did the raisin exist? I looked at it. Surely, I thought, if I can see this raisin, then it exists. I felt its bumps and grooves. Surely, I thought, if I can feel this raisin, then it exists. I licked the raisin. Surely, I thought, if I can taste this raisin, then it exists. Well, I thought, I'm not really seeing the raisin. My eyes are picking up the colors the raisin reflects, brown, and transmitting the image of the raisin to my brain. However, the image is actually upside down. Then my brain's visual cortex has the task of writing the image and assigning meaning to it. Only then do I even see the raisin. And all of this happens in a fraction of a second. So, I wondered, since me seeing the raisin is only my eyes and brain assigning meaning to it, am I really seeing the raisin? Does this raisin exist? Or is it just my brain making things up? What is existence anyway? Well, I thought, my brain can't make things up on its own without something to stimulate it. The truth is, my brain, or anyone else's, is not that good at simulating a convincing reality. The brain is good enough to perceive reality, but not to simulate it entirely. If my brain was making reality up, then everything would seem like a dream. In a dream, you can't see things clearly because they aren't real. Your brain simulates dreams. However, I could definitely see this raisin, clear as day, with all of its little details clear to my eye. So, I thought, there must be something that my eyes are seeing as a raisin. Therefore, the raisin may not be exactly as I perceive it, but it must exist. There indeed is something that I am seeing, that I am feeling, that I am tasting. And, I thought, if this raisin exists, then its adventure must also be true. It is indeed 13.7 billion years old. So the whole universe must exist as well. I exist. You exist. We may not yet know what exactly created this universe out of nothing, but now we do know that whatever happened had to have worked somehow. Our universe is here, and this raisin too. So, I thought, if whatever created our universe worked, and the universe is now here because of that, then couldn't that same process that created our universe have already happened? Could there be more than one universe? I mean, it's silly to think that whatever created our universe happened only once. So what if there is more than one universe? What if there are infinitely many? Could we be on the brink of discovering an infinite multiverse? Well, I thought, there is no reason for there being a finite number of universes. So as long as we can be sure that at least one universe exists, we can be pretty confident that there isn't a finite number. Which brought me back to the raisin. Because of the raisin, I thought, I knew that I exist. Because of that, I knew that all of life exists. Because of that, I knew that this universe exists. And because of that, I knew that the infinite multiverse exists. All because of the raisin. Because of the raisin, the multiverse exists. This video was made by Alex Raisin. It is a short story that I wrote down one day, and I decided to publish it on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, be sure to subscribe and like this video.